Manchester City's top four dreams are being tatters this past weekend as they lose to Nottingham Forest. Can they bounce back this week? We're going to take a look at that and much more next. That's right, folks, back once again with another prediction video. Today is all about Matchday number 30, that's right, in the Premier League, and we'll get to it in a second. If you're new, where you been? Smash your subscribe button. You want to stop shop for Blackburn Rovers, Premier League, World Football. We're going to all here under one rooski. That's right, Liverpool kept the heat at the top of the table, of course, breaking away or extending the lead at the top of the table. Man City, of course, crashing to a shock defeat once again to Nottingham Forest. What will go on this weekend? We'll take a look at that, how much more in a second. Big shout out to the members, big shout out to the patrons. You know who you are. What we're going to do now, though, is revisit the last weekend's games, bring you back up to speed with that. Of course, look forward to this weekend's drama. So sit tight, hold on, let's get into it. Alrighty then, folks, let's turn the clock back to this past weekend and have a look at what went on. Of course, these are the results on the screen right about now, including Forest's 1-0 win over Man City. I did go the other way. Brighton with a 2-1 win over Fulham, lastminute.com winner. Palace did beat Ipswich 1-0, goodness gracious me, and Liverpool with a 3-1 win over Southampton. Not too shabby with me on the predictions. And of course, breaking news right here, right now, Villa just beating Brentford 1-0 over at the Community Stadium. Now, I am recording this ahead of the Wolves game and of course the Sunday's matches, because I'm going to be out on the road and I don't really have time to record early this week. So this is, I'm hopefully going to update the graphics for you so it will look correct. Just bear with me with form and positions in the table. So this is what the table does look like. What I can confirm is Liverpool are top. And what I can confirm is Southampton and that are bottom. As for the rest, we'll have to wait and see. Of course, the table should be correct as of this video. So please look at that right now. And of course, yeah, we'll see how we get on. Meanwhile, of course, the Super Roo will not bring you back up to date with that either. We'll keep doing our thing. Of course, keep getting the predictions in. And of course, we'll hope to bring you an updated one the next time we do a Premier League video, which I think might be after the international break. I don't know. So we'll see about that. Anyway, we are now looking forward to these next games, of course. Now, again, alrighty then, folks. Now, this is, of course, next weekend's drama. Of course, there's actually going to be 8 games taking place this weekend. We've already know the outcome of the Villa against Liverpool game. That ended up 2-2. Meanwhile, Newcastle against Crystal Palace will be a game to be played at another time. That's, of course, due to the Carabao Cup game taking place on the Sunday. That's right. So let's get into it. Of course, looking forward to these games. We're going to start with a trip to Merseyside. It's the David Moyes derby. That's right. Goodison Park, the venue. Everton coming to this. Of course, 16th of the table, 32 points for the campaign. Unbeaten now, as of right now, 4 games in a row with David Moyes. Up against West Ham under Graham Potter, coming into on the back-to-back wins. They played each other 61 times since 1994. 31 wins for Everton, just 15 wins for West Ham. There's been 15 draws. Of course, last time they played each other over at this very venue was a 3-1 win for West Ham way back in March 2024. The reverse fixture, a 0-0 draw at the London Stadium way back in November. Of course, Everton on the back of that 1-1 draw, that was back in Feb. Of course, West Ham is still yet to play. Both Everton and West Ham yet to play their game this weekend. So please bear that in mind as we look forward to this one. Of course, the bookies for this, they give it to Everton under David Moyes. He might get the upper hand on this one. I'm going to go with a 2-0 win as well. Give the Toffees a major boost this season. Up the table they go. Meanwhile, we go to Ipswich up against Nottingham Forest. Of course, it wasn't long ago that these two sides were in and about the Championship, of course, but no longer. They're in the Premier League. Ipswich coming into this under Kieran McKenna. 4 defeats on the spin right now. 80 for the table, 17 points for the campaign. Forest, though, on the back of that important win over Man City. Back-to-back wins. In fact, they're unbeaten in the last 3 matches. Taking place over at Portman Road. 36 times they've played since 1994. 8 wins Ipswich, 19 wins Forest. There's been 9 draws between the two sides. Last time they played at this very venue, Portman Road, it was a 1-1 draw in the Championship back in March 2019. They've also played each other twice this season, both of them at the City Ground, and both of them Nottingham Forest coming out on top. Firstly, in the Premier League, it was a 1-0 win for Forest back in November 2024. It was a 1-0 winners back then. Meanwhile, they played in the FA Cup round 5. Forest came out on top on penalties, 5-4. Not too long ago. The bookies odds, we'll get to that in a second. Ipswich 1-0 loss to Crystal Palace most recently. Forest on the back of that 1-0 win over Man City. The odds right here, right now, they'll go with probably Forest on this one. Ipswich, unfortunately, just don't have enough quality in their ranks here. I'm going to go with a 2-1 win. Forest maintaining their top 4 dreams, and they could well be playing in Champions League football next season. Meanwhile, Man City, then you get back to winning ways up against a difficult Brighton of Albion. That's right, coming at the Etihad. They played each other 17 times in 2008. 13 wins City, 3 wins Brighton. There's been 1 draw. Currently, Man City find themselves in 4th, winning 3 and losing 3 over the last 6. Brighton, though, are in 6th right now, just 1 point adrift of Man City, and they've won at least 6 wins on the spin. Of course, last time they played each other at the City Ground, or at the, wherever is it, the Etihad, it was a 2-1 win for Manchester City back in October 2023. The reverse fixture, a 2-1 win for Brighton at the Amex back in November. City, though, losing to Forest most recently. Of course, Brighton with that important 2-1 win over Fulham. They've had a good bit of form of late, haven't they, into the FA Cup. The quarterfinals, they're doing the business over there. They could well and truly have a bit of silverware at the end of the season. Who knows? The bookies odds on this one, they'll give it to Man City. Of course, they are. They should win at home. If they don't, questions need to be asked. I'm going with a 2-0 win. Of course, that will put a bit of a gap between City and Brighton in that race for top 4. Meanwhile, Southampton up against Wolverhampton. Of course, in a relegation must-winner. Of course, Southampton under Ivan Juric currently find themselves at rock bottom, 9 points for the season. They've lost 5 on the spin. Up against Wolves under Victor Pereira, they've lost 3 of the last 4. They're coming after played Southampton 24 times since 2003. 7 wins for the Saints, 11 wins for the Wolves. 6 draws between 2 sides. Last time around, over at St Mary's, was a 2-1 win for Wolves back in February 2023. The reverse fixture at Molineux, also a 2-0 win for Wolves, who've won 6 on the bounce against Southampton. Of course, Wolves yet to play Everton this weekend. Southampton on the back of that 3-1 loss to Liverpool most recently. Bournemouth was the last opponent for Wolves in the FA Cup. They lost the penalties on that one. The odds right here right now. Southampton are hosts, but they're actually underdogs for this one. Wolves, once again, should be victorious. I'm going to give it to Southampton, at least a point anyway, 1-1, but doesn't really give them hope. They're still destined to break some records this season. Meanwhile, Bournemouth taking on Brentford in the Battle of the Bees, coming at you over at the Vitality Stadium. Bournemouth under Andy Iraola, 9th in the table, 43 points for the season, 3 wins, 3 defeats in the last 6 up against Brentford. Thomas Frank on the back of a defeat here, 58% form for them over the last 6. They played 29 times since 2003, 9 wins Bournemouth, 12 wins Brentford, 8 draws between the two sides. Last time around over at Bournemouth, it was a 2-1 win for Brentford back in May 2024. The reverse fixture, a 3-2 win for Brentford at the Community Stadium back in November. Brentford on the back of that, what was it, a 1-0 loss, something like that, to Aston Villa. Bournemouth on the back of that 5-4 penalty shootout win over Wolves, taking on Spurs tomorrow in a big game. Again, this video has been recorded Saturday ahead of the Sunday game, so bear that in mind. The bookies odds for this one. Bournemouth massively fancied on this one. Brentford not so much on the road. This could be another defeat for Brentford on my eyes. Going to go 2-1 win. Bournemouth taking it to the mixer. Then we go into Sunday's game, another ding-dong classic, all London affair. It's Arsenal, it's Chelsea. It's one of the early games on Sunday, March the 16th. They played these two sides since 1993, 83 times. 34 wins for Arsenal, 27 wins for Chelsea. There's been 22 draws. Arsenal sitting second in the table, 54 points for the campaign. They have just lost once in the last 4. Against Chelsea under Enzo Marquesca, they got back-to-back wins and they sit 5th right now. Of course, last time around over at the Emirates, it was a 5-0 win for Arsenal back in April 2024. The reverse fixture at Stamford Bridge being a 1-1 draw. Arsenal are unbeaten against Chelsea over the last 6, picking up 4 wins and a couple of draws. Of course, Arsenal taking on Manchester United ahead of this video. Chelsea also in action prior to this. And of course, both sides are in European drama as well this midweek. So bookies will go with Arsenal on this one. I think they'll win as well. 3-1 winners to continue their unbeaten run against Chelsea into another match. Meanwhile, Fulham against Spurs in another all-London affair coming to on Sunday, March the 16th at Craven Cottage. Fulham under Marcus Silva. They lost twice in the last 6. They sit 10th right now, 42 points for the season. Up against Spurs, in 13th right now, 33 points for the campaign. Just 2 wins of the last 6. 41 times they have played since 2001. 10 wins Fulham, 22 wins Spurs, 9 draws, of course. Last time around, over at this very venue, was a 3-0 win for Fulham back in March, around about this time last season. The reverse fixture, a 1-1 draw at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium back in December. Spurs yet to play, but of course on the back of an AZ Alkmaar defeat, and of course they've got Bournemouth as well as AZ Alkmaar before this game. Fulham, of course, on the back of that 2-1 loss to Brighton. Of course, all preparations are now for this game as we look forward to it. Coming at you right here, another bookies odds. I'll give it to Fulham. They've got the edge. Spurs playing a little bit shit right now, and of course Angie's on the brink of the sack. He could actually be sacked by this game. Who knows? I'm going to give it to Spurs though. Could be a new manager bounce, or it could be Angie's working his magic. 1-0 winners over at Craven Cottage. Meanwhile, we go to Leicester City up against Man United in the Rue Van Nistelrooy derby. Leicester up against Manchester United at the King Power Stadium. 5 defeats on the spin for Leicester. They're well and truly in that relegation discussion. Meanwhile, Manchester United are in 14th on the back of 50% form for them. 1-2 lost to and drawn 2 over the last 6. They played 40 times since 1994. 5 wins Leicester, 26 wins Manchester United. There's been 9 draws. They've already played each other 3 times this season. This will be the 4th, of course. But it's been 3 wins out of 3 for Manchester United. However, there is no however. They did play each other at the King Power last time around. It was a 1-0 win for Manchester United back in September 2022. But the previous 3 this season all resulted in comfortable wins for Manchester United. 5-2 win in the EFL Cup back in October. They did pick up the 3-0 win at Old Trafford in the league. And they squeaked past Leicester in the FA Cup back in February. So 3 successive wins. In fact, they've won 5 on their spin against Leicester. They're coming into, though, we don't know what's going on in that Arsenal game. Leicester, we don't know what's going on in their match, so we'll see. Bookies odds on this one, give it to Manchester United. Of course they do. I'm going there as well. They'll make it another win, the 4th win on the spin this season against Leicester. 2-1 winners in the end. And then finally, like I said, the Newcastle Crystal Palace game will take place another day, completely another day. But if it was to take place right here, right now, my result would be a 2-0 win for the Geordies. Of course, they've got other priorities, being the Carabao Cup. But that, my friends, is, of course, another video. 2-0 winners in the end. And if I'm right, this is what the table will look like, or something along those lines. Of course, I will edit this video to make sure the table is updated, following on from the Sunday's games. But that, my friends, is what I've got for you. Subscribe, smash the like, catch you later. Until then, guys and girls, we're just about done.